Hello there and welcome to the channel. My name is Simon and you are watching Walking Talking Gardeners. That'll never get old. And in this video I'm going to tell you my 5 rules that will absolutely guarantee that you will bring your bird of paradise, Strelitzia reginae, back into flower. When I say guarantee, I'm not admitting liability. There's no actual compensation personally from me to you. If you can't get your plant to flower, that's just down to you. So it's just a figure of speech. Now I am going to assume that you've picked up yourself a small Strelitzia plant. It had one of those little plastic flower picks that is stuck in it. You've had it on your windowsill for a couple of years. You're looking at it and you're thinking, surely that should have come into flower. And so you've decided to check it online and you've arrived at this video. Well done, you picked the right one. Your bird of paradise is what is known as an evergreen perennial, and it's a native to the southern regions of South Africa, which is quite useful because the climate there is almost similar to what we receive here in the UK. Now you purchase yourself a small plant which will be in its juvenile state, and it will never flower while in its juvenile state. You need to get it to grow bigger, encourage it into its mature state, at which point it will then be capable of producing those absolutely gorgeous flowers.
Listen, rule number 1, provide enough light.
Now, its native habitat of South Africa, your bird of paradise plants will experience warm, wet summers and cool, dry winters and plenty of sunshine. So the first rule is to get your plant outside and place it into a position of full sun. But there are 2 things you need to do first. Firstly, you're going to need to harden off the foliage to outside conditions, because as it would be for most people who are kept indoors throughout the year and then put outside in full sun, you are going to get sunburn from the ultraviolet lights. So you need to harden off your plant first. And in order to do that, you can take it outside, place it somewhere protected under some trees in the shady part of the garden. Make sure it gets some sunlight in the morning or late afternoon, but definitely keep it away from the full strength of the sun at midday. Then over a period of 10 to 14 days, giving it a little bit more light each day, you'll be able to build up its resistance to cope with full sun by the end of that 10 to 14 day period. Secondly, because you put it outside and it's going to start metabolizing, growing, the heat will get it all moving, you're going to need to pot it on. But you only want to pot it on into one pot, and that pot should be as big a pot as you can carry, because we don't want to be messing about with repotting. As I said earlier, it is a evergreen perennial, and with many perennials they have these big root systems, and your Strelitzia is no different. It has these thick, almost tuberous roots that will extend out. Now, because it's a plant that comes from a region that can suffer environmental stress, from too hot, too dry, it has these big thick root systems, so it can hold on to its own source of nutrition, carbohydrates, sugars and water. And whenever you pot these on, first thing this plant does is, firstly, it becomes a bit shocked from being potted on, and never disturb the root system when you pot these plants on. Do not do it. I've mentioned this many times in my videos. Keep the root ball intact, don't mess about with it, don't start pulling it around and then put it on. The plant will be a bit shocked because you've changed the root environment, and it will just produce a load of root. It will be growing, but it won't show any foliage really until that root system has settled. So pot it on once, do it properly. Just be aware that Strelitzias do not like to be kept in overly wet or waterlogged conditions. So when you're potting on, put a 2 or 3 inches of gravel at the base of your pot, and when you're putting in your compost, add an additional 20% of horticultural grit. That way you've guaranteed your drainage, and you will never have an issue with waterlogging or too much water at the roots, because if you do, you'll get leaf damage, stunted growth, shock, definitely no blooms. Oh, hold on a minute. If you're finding this video useful or even just mildly amusing, then don't forget to click the thumbs up, press on that subscription, and if you want to be notified of whenever we release a new video, then click on that notification bell. It helps us more than you know, and it allows us to do stupid visits like this in the future. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old boiled butt has to say. Put my bloody glasses back on. Too hot, too sunny. It's too lovely.
Rule number 3. Water correctly.
As we mentioned earlier, its native habitat of South Africa experiences warm, wet summers and cool, dry winters. So to replicate that is fairly simple. During the growing period, which will be from approximately beginning of April up until the end of September, make sure your plant gets plenty of watering during the growing season. If you're not sure how much water to apply once the top inch or two of the compost has dried up, and then give it plenty of water. So you'll be roughly watering once a week, but really will depend on conditions. On hot, dry, windy days, it will use a lot more water than it would do on overcast, cool days. So plenty of watering over the growing period, and also don't forget to apply a fertilizer, because it will be producing that big root system down in the pot as well as its foliage, and it does need a lot of energy to produce those flower spikes because of the big bright bulb, quite densely compact. So water generously, but don't allow waterlogging or too much wet in the roots. Apply fertilizers. The fertilizers, liquid soluble, something like Miracle-Gro, and apply that every 2 weeks.
Rule number 4. Add heat.
Now, when you think of South Africa, you may think of the tropic, subtropical region, but to be honest with you, it's much cooler, more Mediterranean than you might first think. Low temperatures go down to about -2 in the highlands, and in the summer, temperatures will go up to about 35 degrees Celsius, which can happen in odd years in the UK, but on the whole we are obviously a lot cooler. So in order to try and increase the amount of heat that your plant receives, then you need to manipulate your microclimates. So for example, if you have a south facing or west facing house wall, it's going to get bright sunlight pretty much throughout the day, and that sunlight will heat up the brickwork. That then radiates heat back out next to your plant and will continue to do so at night time. So hopefully you will increase the microclimate by that section of wall of your house by 2, 3, 4 degrees. Difficult to say, doesn't it? It depends on what it is. But it is an excellent way of using the microclimates of your garden in order to get increased heat into your plant.
Rule number 5. Cold period required.
If you go onto the Royal Horticultural Society's website, one of my absolute favourite gardening websites, and put in Bird of Paradise into its search engine, it will pull out a load of growing information. As part of that information, it will say it will tolerate temperatures down to between 5 and 10 degrees Celsius. That isn't strictly true and can cause you problems. Back in my chair. Now, in order to initiate flowering, the Bird of Paradise needs to experience a drop in temperatures. So if you decide to bring your plant in under protection back indoors for the winter and it doesn't experience that cold period, then it's not going to trigger itself coming into flower. This is vitally important. Now, the one that I have grown in the garden, that usually gets left in the greenhouse, and it will tolerate temperatures quite happily in there down to about -3, possibly -4, and it will look absolutely perfect as though it's just come off the nursery it was grown in. Now, if temperatures get lower than that, then you are at risk of damaging foliage and the root system, which will shock it and then either stop it from flowering the previous year, or it will just cause a lot of damage and the plant will sulk for another year. So if temperatures look to drop below -3, -4 degrees, then you're going to have to take it out the greenhouse, put it somewhere more protected like a conservatory. And now you understand why I said put it in a pot that you can carry, because there's going to be a lot of carrying. Oh, and while it's in the greenhouse, you can lay off that watering, keep it on the dry side. You only need to water it every 2, 3, 4 weeks, just enough to stop it from desiccating, because again, you don't want it drying out, because that again causes environmental stress. Shock the plant, bang, no flowers. And there you have it. Those are my 5 rules for guaranteeing that your bird of paradise will come back into flower. So you will expect to see those specialist flowering shoots that do look like leaf shoots coming out, and you should see those around about November time, October, November, December, and they'll generally just stay as they are, and then come the spring, when temperatures warm up, they'll actually open up to the flower. So there you have it. But if you've got any other fantastic advice that you would like to add regarding how to get your Strelitzia to flower, then put that in the comment section. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we have created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I've still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.